So you've got some hopes for some things in the future. You talked about perhaps being a pastor, trying to change the way we do church, and you have those dreams. How can I help you as a dad in your mind, or how do I help you as a dad? In either way, what would you like to see more of? What would you like me to add to what we do that would help you to get to where you're going as far as your dreams right now? Welcome to the Leveraging Success podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Gerhardt. Every time that we're together, I want to help you work less, make more, and through the freedom that you gain and the margin that you start to store up, you're going to be able to use that to be an incredible husband, wife, parent, and most importantly, an incredible kingdom leader, living a life mission that God put you on. I am so excited today because I have a very special guest, someone that I love dearly, my son, my youngest, Jacob. Jacob, you and I are having a weekend alone, right? Because it's a bit of a mom's away at a fantastic women's retreat. Your brother is out previewing a university in California, Biola, right now. And so it just ended up with you and I alone. Is this a thing that we're going to see a lot more of between me and you?
It's going to be a little weird. Zach's not incredibly far from moving out, so it's getting smaller. Downgrade.
It just means less time with Zach, perhaps more time with you and I. For our family, for our listeners, Heather and I this year are just hitting our 29th anniversary. And alongside of 29 years of marriage, we've got 4 kids, 2 amazing adult daughters, and they're married to great men. And we have our 2 sons, Zach, who's 17, Jacob, who's now 14. And it won't be long. Zach's a year away from graduating high school. And Jacob, you and I are looking forward to the future as things continue to change and alter. But that's kind of been the story of your life, right? I mean, you've been doing change all of your life because we had you in Europe. We brought you back to California. We moved to Texas. Your sisters grew up and grew out of our house to school, to getting married. Your brother's quickly, getting older too, and all that change is coming. It's quite a bit of change, right?
Quite a bit of new things, different ways to operate. A robot of this family and the arms and legs of it are just getting different gears, different new ways to do the same thing.
Well, things change, right? And just like you and I, we're here alone this weekend. And so, man, we don't need to brush our hair, right? We're just, I've got a hat on. We're bashing it, relaxing. Of course, we've got some good things that happened last night. You and I got to go to the Hope Gala last night, raising funds for Hope Women's Center in McKinney. We got to meet Tim Tebow, spend time with your sister. It was a great weekend, right?
Yeah, definitely say that. Ton of fun.
Yeah, really good. Well, you and I have had lots of conversations, and what I wanted our listeners to be able to hear is to hear what does it look like to grow up the way that you have your story, because I think everyone's curious is that if I'm saying that this is a lifestyle to live, which is to work less, make more, and then get your freedom back. And when you get your freedom, that would mean that instead of just staying busy, apply some of that freedom to spend more time with your family. Jacob, I think that you're the product of something very different, perhaps, than what your sisters grew up in with me and mom. And so we get to spend a lot of time together. So that's why I'm interested in your story. And I think that your story is interesting to our listeners and to who I like to talk to. So just tell us a little bit about you. Tell me, everyone again, how old you are, what grade you're in, what you want to do, how you see the world. What is it like being 14?
Yeah, I'm 14, coming up on 15 in 8th grade, not too far from ending that and starting high school. I just finished recording my first song and going to get that on Spotify, starting my music career. I'm very much into football, got Star Player of the Year last year. I've been trying to stay strong, and my dream is to become a pastor for a church and change the way we see Christianity and the family of the gospel.
So, Jake, you got a lot of things in there, but I think what excites me is the idea that you're already recording music. You enjoy doing that. You've got album art all done. You've dialed a couple of songs. You've laid down track. You even have your sister and brother-in-law who are really pro at this as well, laying down some insight of the songs that you've written. So, tell me a little bit about your dreams with that. What are your hopes by creating that music and releasing it?
If the Lord wills it, I would hope very much to be able to make a living off of music, to be able to perform, write, record. To do that would be a dream come true in every sense of the word. I would love to make it a lifestyle.
Well, it's important, right, that you've got dreams and ideas and that you have these things that you're getting to sample from music to football. You're also involved in church. You get to do worship there, right?
Yeah, every Wednesday I'm on acoustic and singing and leading my peers in worship and praising the Lord.
Well, so that's you right now, and so you've got some hopes for some things in the future. You talked about perhaps being a pastor, trying to change the way we do church, and you have those dreams. How can I help you as a dad in your mind, or how do I help you as a dad in either way? What would you like to see more of? What would you like me to add to what we do that would help you to get to where you're going as far as your dreams right now?
Well, in the middle school to high school, you're trying to figure out what you want to do. So I'd say let experiment. Let them, or even me, try different things. I mean, I'm trying out being a music artist right now, trying to get better at speaking. I mean, try out different things, experiment, and let their minds go crazy.
Yeah. So you're getting to experiment. Do you have some experiences that you'd like to have? I mean, you understand, like, we've been taking your brother to different schools, West Point, and going to different places where, he can get exposed to different options. For you, what are the things that you're hoping for, or experiences that you would like to have that would help you to develop your opinion on what you want to do in the future?
Well, I would love to talk to people who've gone through seminary and learn about that, learn about different schools and point of views of those schools and what they like, dislike. And I would also like to learn from some professional musicians, see their advice, how they take on being a musician in a world that's continuously making it harder for musicians to make a living.
Yeah. The world's changing when it comes to music, don't you think? It's a different world if you want to be a professional musician.
You have to learn different strategies. You have to learn, like, okay, I'm not making a lot of money from the music itself, so I'll start a merch line or I'll start going on tour. You have to be creative.
It's going to be interesting, everything from the way that AI makes music, right, to the way that that is going to be paid for, and all of that interesting world, the way that music will work someday. Hey, let's talk a little bit about your world right now. So, how many kids are in your class? How many friends do you say that you have? I mean, what does your friend network, your family look like? Who do you get to spend most time with?
Well, on the average day, I will go into school and have 3 friends that I'd like to hang out with, talk with if something's going on, something interesting. Normally, they have something to talk about with me. I'll be in a classroom of no more than 15 of an hour class and then get scrambled up again into a different class. And it's a majority of not very many people, but with the people I hang out with, I pour a lot.
So we've talked a lot about who you hang out with, right? Because remember when we talked about the herd and the herd instinct and being around different kids and what that does to you. These have been some of the lessons that we've done through things like Passport to Purity, right? That we did as a framework for you to get growing into being a man. How important was that, and what are some of your best memories from those days?
Well, to say the least, it was a ton of fun to learn and get a different perspective. And on top of that, we were always doing a trip when we were doing it. So there was bonding, there was time to talk, time to learn more about each other, and time to figure out who I wanted to be or what I wanted to be.
Hey, talk about those trips, Jacob. I mean, we've had some amazing experiences together. creating memories. What are some of your favorite ones that you remember? We call those best days. For those of you that are listening, that's once a year. Jacob and I make a plan, and what would we do together, Jacob, that would make you say at the end of a day together, this was the best day I've ever had? And so you get to dream those up, and then we go and spend a day or so out doing something really special. What are some of the best experiences that you've had in those best days?
Well, in this past year, we went to Florida, and as soon as we got there, we unpacked our stuff and walked outside and were right on the beach. And what was incredible was, since we were going through Passport to Purity, we've just gone through one of those sessions, and we walked out and walked the beach, not far from a mile, and just talked about how we thought about it, what we wanted to move with it, what it was challenging us to do, and it was a great talk, a great learning experience, and a ton of fun.
Yeah, a ton of fun, right? It was your idea because you love the water. I know that it doesn't matter if it's a swimming pool, the ocean, a lake. If we can get in the water, of course, we got to do some snorkeling, fantastic water, swimming, all of that. These are the ways with which we've got to make memories and then have incredible conversations. So, how important has that time been for you? What are you benefiting now from it, or what do you think the adult Jacob, the 35-year-old version of you, is going to say about these days that we've got to spend together?
Well, to say the least, I know my dad. And many kids not answer the question, yeah, I respect my parents, or I can understand them, or know a lot of them. I can say without a doubt that I can go up to him and understand you. I can understand if you're upset or stressed, anxious, and that's purely because of time we've spent on one-on-one, putting in the effort to learn. And if you have a friend, you have that. You don't if you really care, you're not gonna not do anything. You're gonna make time to learn about each other, ask questions, and so forth.
Yeah. We say about these best days is that it doesn't matter what you're going to do. Of course, you want it to be something that your kid is going to be thrilled and excited about. But the outcome is the time together, the getting to know each other more, the ability to have what will seem like coincidental conversations that will be extremely remarkable and matter a lot. So we've gotten to talk about everything from who you want to marry, how to handle sex, what does the changes that you're going through look like, how do you stay focused and believe, how do I provide a dream for you that's beyond what you can see so that you can believe for more. And Jacob, this is a real struggle. It's a struggle for everyone your age, is that we're working to provide a dream for you so that you can see something that you've never seen before. And all of us get one life to live. And so I only got to be 35 once, but I always hold out the thought of ultimate Jacob achieving at 35 and finding, who am I? What was I made for? And while you answer that question, while I help you have a dream and form that dream and help you fill up with hope, it keeps you on a path that stretches you and pushes you. And Jacob, I mean, I was pushing you a little bit today because I was pushing you to push past what you could see, to believe something beyond you. And that's always a challenge because I'm trying to get you to be facts over feelings. Man, talk raw about that. Talk about how you feel and process what we were talking about today and what it means to you as you're trying to keep hope alive and dreams alive while the world around you could lead you to think something else.
I'll start with a little bit of an analogy. In war, you will be told by a captain, general, whether it's true or not, that you have to push forward and be strong, and they'll give you hope. And in order for yourself to win the war over Satan and what's in your mind, you have to be able to understand that there is hope, and tell yourself, or your troops, you could say, which is your body, that there is a hope and there's something to look forward to and something to push past.
When we talk about that, right, we were talking today about the story you're telling yourself. And truth and facts are truth and facts, but the way that I process the truth and facts creates a story for me so that I hold on to something, and the story that I select is going to fill my heart with hope or fear. So you're always processing those things and then selecting a set of facts to create a story with. And so all of us have a choice with which to see these things and to select the truth, to select the fact, and use those to build a story. Well, while we are absent total information, more hopeful, more full of grace, more full of a dream that will push me past the reality that may be saying it's not easy right now, right? And you know that there's moments where even in teen life that you've experienced significant challenge, and you've continued to level up through that process with growth.
Well, yeah, growing up has been, you could say, different for me than most because you could start with at a young age. I was being put into the Bible, and it matures you. It will show you more about yourself. You'll learn about God, and then on top of that, I, like you said earlier, my sisters both moved out when I was 7, and that was something I had to experience and understand. Although they weren't gone forever, it was a experience that hurt, and hope was affected by that. But the story that I have to tell myself is that though people are gone, they're not gone forever, and they're something to look forward to seeing them again and meeting new people, although it's not my favorite thing, is something to become accustomed to and learn about as I grow up more.
You're pushing past the uncomfortable to get to the promise that comes on the other side, even while you're sort of eating your peas and not, the pleasant moments, but you push through because, you get something amazing on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, if it was the easy route, everyone would do it. If just being joyful or just choosing the right decision was easy, we'd all be doing it, and it's just simply not. So we have to trust in God for it.
So, Jacob, tell me what your future family looks like. What do you want to see in that family? If you could choose the scenario, who's in that scenario, and how many are in that scenario? Describe for me what your future family, what your future looks like.
Well, I would hope and pray that I'm married quick and I have 2 kids and we're moving for God. At a young age, I want my kids to understand that the world isn't as small as we think it is. Want them to be kingdom-minded, look up to the stars and go farther for Jesus and dedicate their lives to that. I would like to dedicate my life to that, with my wife being a partnership to do what God wants us to do. And I don't know that now, but when I do, I want to hold her hand through it, go for it and reach for the stars.
Right. So you're talking to that future Jacob who's a dad. What are the things that you're telling him to remember, concentrate on? How are you encouraging the 35-year-old version of you?
Understand that even though with the wisdom of knowing their struggles aren't as big as they think they are, in the moment it feels like everything. So you have to understand that it's a lot to take in. They're going through a lot. Their emotions are on high, and you have to understand you understanding and just listening means a lot to them. And like men, we seem to try and fix them, and that's not always what our kids and women want to hear. They just want to hear you listen to them and not affirm, but help them out, being there for them.
Man, I have to say to our listeners that you're hearing us have a conversation where Jacob is coaching his future self and also setting up expectations for him. And as he talks about that and he coaches the 35-year-old version of him, he's going to be remembering those things. And he's also speaking to us about how we could act as dads to be better at this. Jacob, you're quickly growing and you've got dreams that are out there. Maybe here's a final word for this conversation. Would you say a little bit about what have you seen between all of the people that we've got to interact with that are part of the master's program, that are people that are doing ministry, they're in business. What's your impression of them, and what would you like to take from these people that you know that we spend time with that would be valuable to that 35-year-old version of you?
It's a subtle thought that maybe not people would notice, or not many would notice, is if you ever talk to someone that has graduated TMP and that is in their life launch, look at the way they smile and their expressions on their face. Look at the happiness that they have and the joy, even though it's hard, and the understanding that we're here for God, and maybe he won't help us now because he has a different agenda, but we will be in heaven with him, rejoicing that we went through the hard things together and worked for him.
Good stuff. Well, this has been a fantastic conversation between the two of us. I've enjoyed very much hearing from you, your opinion, your thoughts. And we love doing this together, is just driving alone. Even today, as we've been able to spend this time, just me and you, having great conversations about all sorts of things. Every time that we get together, this podcast is meant for you, the business owner, the executive, the entrepreneur. And that opportunity is for you to find ways to strengthen your position while you stay on. I want to thank you for joining us for another episode of Leverage That. So glad that you came to be here. We'd love to have you continue on this journey. So subscribe to this podcast, or get a notification if you're watching off YouTube, and subscribe there. I mean, I'd also love to hear your feedback. So if you've got time, would you please send me an email or write feedback or review on this podcast? If you want to send me an email, to come to me via my assistant, you can send that email to jeff@leveragingsuccesspodcast.com, and then send that in. Tell me what you think of the show, what you'd like to hear more of, and I'd be thrilled to talk to you and address some of your questions live here. Lastly, I have an offer for you where you can hear some of my tips, not only on all of life and creating a life that is mastered, but also how to be a great parent. You can go into the show notes or the notes from this video and click the link for the Life Mastery 7-day course. It's going to be 7 emails are going to come to you with videos from me on ideas on how to master life. And if you'd like to go further, you can watch our webinar, which will explain what an incredibly impactful life look. After you've done that, you'll have an opportunity to spend more time with me and consider joining the master's program. Hey, we're so glad that you've been here today, working less, making more, and taking that gain to be incredible and having an impactful life that's going to matter forever. I'm your host, Jeff Gerhardt, here with my son, Jacob. Until next time, God bless you.